and welcome to This Might Be a Mistake podcast episode 3. Um I'm just letting you guys know that we have just filmed the episode 2, which you guys must have listened to already. And the reason why we're doing that is because we would like a week off where we can do our own personal stuff. But rather than talking about all of that, we have a very interesting topic today. And before I go into that, I do also just want to mention again that we are doing Winter Arc and we will be updating and all of that on social media. Like I have already spoken on episode 2, so go and have a check on that. So we will be uh, s- doing all the Winter Arc stuff and all of those things and updating you guys on the progress and all of those things. So have a look at episode 2 as well. So today on episode 3, we'll be discussing about basically the mind games of psychology of brands. So it's about how brands basically play in our minds. You know, we have a few brands where we think are out there, and sometimes we get into that whole in that loop of having to buy from them. And just to put a big claimer out there before I go into anything is we are going to discuss about some specific brands today, and it's nothing personal and it's all just for fun. We're just picked out these brands because we think um, some of them have a very good marketing style, very creative, and it's very fascinating to see how they have brought in so many people to buy their products and stuff like that. So why exactly is psychology such a massive impact in a lot of brands and businesses nowadays? Well, I'm pretty sure most of you all know there's AI out there. AI can't do stuff that we humans do, which is knowing the emotional side of people and the body language. Maybe later on they will get that advanced, but for the time being, um, podcasters, sorry, man, businesses out there are looking for different ways, and I think it's been there for a very long time, using that psychology to play with people. And playing with people doesn't mean, okay, we're just gonna trick them into buying it. But I think it's a way for them to also get people to buy their products, right? It's a win-win for the customer and for the company. So psychology is actually one of my favorite things that I like to read about. Um, I would personally say I have much more of a higher EQ than IQ. And the reason behind that is because I feel like I understand people in a very well mannered way. Um, we can't look at a person and tell whether they're happy or whether they're upset because there are so many masks behind a person. So it takes a lot of um, skills, I would say, but not even skills. I think it's about having that touch of human to human knowledge and skills. And as much as there are skills out there, I mean, it's also, some people it's a gift. So I'm going to be talking about some random numbers, but it's numbers that are being made up in my mind or some numbers I think. So it might not be even correct, but it's just what I think. So 90% of decisions that we make, I believe, is because of our feelings and not because we are logical. So basically, what I'm trying to say here is it's very subconscious. All right. So we don't make decisions because we think it is the right decision to do. We make those decisions because one thing is because we're excited to make that decision. So when you're going to a store and you want to buy something for yourself, you're very excited that you're going to get this product or item. Whereas in if you think about it in a logical way, so if you pretty much just reverse whatever you would, flashback yourself and put yourself in that mindset that you're going to be logical and buy something, I don't think you would buy the product, right? And there are many, many reasons why. And before I get into anything else, I'll explain why I said that. So, for example, for me, I'm a person who loves to buy um, the most randomest things. If I see something and I think I like it, I'll buy it. But there will be some days where I will be more logical and I'll be like, it's such an unnecessary thing. Let's not buy it. But if I want to go more in depth into it, for someone like me, I would say I'm a person who loves to play video games and I play PlayStation and the new FIFA just released, right? Or the FC 26. So every year when they launch the new FIFA or the FC, I would always tell myself I'm not gonna buy it because it's it's the same game, just a little bit upgraded, right? But for someone who has been playing for, I don't know, 10, 15 years of their life, the same video game, or I don't even know if 10, 15 years is a bit too exaggerating, but 7, 8 years maybe. You're so loyal to that, right? So you wouldn't go and buy, I don't know, if I don't know if PES, if if some people know the video game called PES, it used to be out there before. I'm not sure if it's still there, but I wouldn't go and randomly go and buy PES for I don't know because I've been playing FIFA for so many years. I have FIFA 2008, 2009, 2010, and every year we keep telling each other we're not buying it because. And well done, camera person, for making that noise. Anyways, so like I said, we don't know if we're gonna buy it or will we buy it. So last year, even when the new 2025 one came out, I was like, "Ugh, do I buy it? Do I not buy it? My friends are buying it. Should I buy it?" But thinking about it now, I'm 100% sure that's the only thing that I would pretty much buy every single year because I'm so loyal to that. Even if I don't play as much as I think I would when buying it, I would still buy it. And yeah, it might be a little bit of a waste of a money, but when you have been buying that same product for continuously every year and in the same month, it becomes such a habit, right? It becomes such a thing where if you don't buy it, you feel like you're being unloyal to the game. And that seems a bit weird, right? Like you're saying you're being unloyal to a game. It feels very weird. But for someone who's been playing throughout so many years, it's like a nostalgia. It's like a fun, the history of buying it since then to now. Um, so it's that you have that brand loyalty with that. Well, for me, I have that with FIFA. So I feel like I have got a little sidetracked here, but that's all right. But yeah, anyways, so for example, like I'm gonna continue talking about FIFA again. FIFA, they um they don't sell their products, okay, And what I'm trying to say is they don't sell their products to people, they sell one, their legacy and their emotions, right? So for someone like me, if I don't get the FIFA, I'm going to be very upset. And the reason why is because I have been buying it so many times throughout, every year. And having that game, playing with it, and, getting that new graphics and the icons and, all those things, it's a very special thing. So, um, brands basically don't sell products. They basically sell their emotions to us. And you find it like it's like it's like a trick. Do they really, are they really like, caring about us, or they just want to just make some money? But you can look at it in a very two ways, right? Where so it's that. So I think coming back to what I mentioned said earlier, if we were buying products logically, I don't think we would have bought it. But because we're buying it with emotions, we would definitely buy it, right? So it comes back to all of that, right? Now, I had a few chats with my cameraman, well, camera person, social media person, everything, one person. um, we had this discussion about, okay, we're starting a podcast. Should we buy a new mic? Because maybe we'll give it much more of a crispy, more nicer audio. Do we get a new camera? Do we get a new laptop? Like we started talking about all this, but that's us getting excited because we're building a podcast thing, right? So we want to, well, I want to buy all of those. Whereas then I have my friend who is being more logical than me, saying, let's hold back on all of those. Let's be reasonable. Let's start the podcast. Let's see how it goes. Let's get the views. Let's get the fan base growing. Then we can, spend a little. So there is just a perfect example of what you see feelings and logical, right? You have my friend being the logical one and me being the emotional one, thinking excited, yeah, let's go, let's get all the stuff, let's get the equipment, let's purchase stuff and, have the grand podcast set. So it's quite interesting. It's a very interesting topic when you go more into detail and you read about those. And I mentioned it in the previous episode as well that I'm a person who love to read and visualize like YouTube and stuff, like like to listen to stuff. And mainly some stuff that I listen to is, human psychology, consumer psychology and all of those things. And it's quite interesting to see how people tend to change their behaviors according to certain things. Now, for example, I'm a person who loves Starbucks. Yeah. If I go to the store and I go to a Costa and I go and buy myself a Costa coffee, I'm going to be very, very upset. And the reason why is the coffee might be the same, the taste might be the same, but the feeling about it is totally different, which makes it the coffee a bad product, right? But actually, it's not. So, actually, just 2, 3 days ago, I had Costa. As soon as you take a sip of it, for me, I found it, I don't know, right? And the reason why is it's not because the coffee is so bad, it's because I prefer having Starbucks any day of the week, right? And that itself is Starbucks basically playing with me. They're playing with my emotions, knowing that I only want Starbucks. Yeah. So it has that whole concept when it comes to these things. I'm gonna be moving around a lot because I'm literally slipping away from this uh, sofa or chair. So that actually kind of takes us into emotional marketing, right? So emotional marketing is basically It's in the word. It's emotional marketing. But I feel like more than the brand or the name marketing, emotional has such a broad thing. Yeah. So emotional can be a lot of things. It can be feelings, it can be about your sense, your thoughts, your ideas, anything. So more than the name marketing, thinking that that's the broad picture, emotional is very broad in this sense. Is my personal opinion, of course. So to give a example on this, I would actually like to take McDonald's. Okay, so McDonald's right now, they are doing McDonald's Monopoly, right? So it's a game with, some food that you love to eat. And knowing McDonald's has been one of the biggest fast food restaurants out there who knows how to market. You can go anywhere, or you can drive, let's say, from, I don't know, from London to Liverpool. And if you were thinking of eating something, you would be thinking instantly McDonald's, right? Because you're going to find it anywhere on the side of M25 or in the service centers. So they know really how to market and they know where to place their stores. So not do they just market their product, but they also know where to put exact locations of where their stores should be. So the monopoly thing, right? So I'm actually a part of this. Okay, I'm gonna raise my hand here because I am very involved. But I'm not doing it for the food nowadays. I'm doing it more for the rewards that you can win. And unfortunately, now that winter arc is coming up as well, I have to really figure out how I'm actually gonna do this. But people buy these products now, and it's something that's going on from what? It started in September. Yeah, somewhere around September, and it's gonna go on until November, I believe. And it's a perfect way for them to get more people to buy McDonald's every single day. So on their packaging, they have stickers, um, which is stuck, and it'll be like a question mark, stuff like that. And you have to remove it, and then you'll win. You'll get two things. You'll get either you can get two like landmarks. So you'll have like what's one of the you can have Mayfair and you can have Piccadilly Circus, right? So you have the blue and the yellow. So you scan those on the phone and then you get another go on the app as well. So people who buy these products now, some people when you're going to McDonald's, you might just go and buy a McFlurry, right? But now you would think more about it because the more you buy, the more stickers you get. So if you buy a meal, you get three items. You get a drink, you get the fries, and you get the burger. So all of them will have a sticker, and each sticker contains um, two things. So it's a perfect way, people to buy food. You also get to enjoy some food, and you also get, a chance to win something. So they do have a lot of things out there. It creates a scarcity, right? It creates it for only a short period of time, and you have that feeling of FOMO, of fear of missing out. What if, you start beginning, what if I did go and buy something at McDonald's and did win something, right? So some people might sit here and be like, this is all marketing. But then at the same time, what if is the big question, right? What if you actually did win something? What if you did win the TV? Or what if you won the 5K or the 100K? Or, even a free meal? So it has a very interesting slash funny angle to the whole aspect of the McDonald's monopoly. Um, but you're very hooked into it, right? Like, you might go today and you have like, let's say you have two properties of the yellow and you need one more to win a reward. Now you're so gassed, you're hooked into it, you're going into this store and you buy yourself McDonald's. But all you end up getting on the reward is probably like um, please, you won small fries. And you're thinking, oh, really? Okay. But the thing is, you keep buying. And a funny story is, I actually went to McDonald's yesterday, and I had already got a few properties, and I'm now waiting. Okay, maybe I can have the chance of buying. So I went with my friend, and we bought McDonald's. So we got a meal with the fries and the drinks, like a medium one. And then we scanned it, and then we had won another drink, and we thought we might as well use it here to get another sticker, and it makes you keep buying every single time. But then when we sat there, I told myself we're not going to buy every single time because one thing, and this is where my logical mindset is playing, is we're spending too much money. Maybe we can put aside 5 or 10 pounds, maybe not 10 pounds, maybe 5 pounds every week to buy maybe once McDonald's just to see if we get the right stickers that we want. Right? There are people out there who I've seen on TikTok who keep having these buckets of stickers. And I remember seeing a video of a person going around other like it's a bit weird, but there's a guy going around people at their tables being like, if you're not taking the stickers, can I have it? And then he puts it in his bucket and then he keeps scanning them. So some people are very into it. Some people are not big fans of it, but then there are some people who are just coming for the food. Either way, it's a win-win for McDonald's, right? So it's a very perfect example, I would say, you would give to an emotional marketing aspect. Now, recently, we just had the biggest launch and on Apple, right? The iPhones, and it talks about, they talked about their new phones, they talked about their new iOS softwares, they talked about Apple Watches, they talked about the new AirPods, which sound looks actually quite cool. And they talked about something else, but I can't remember on the top of my head. But I think I mentioned the most common ones. So iPhone 17, 17 Pro Max, 17 Pro, and 17 Air. So that's another thing. I'm an Apple person. I don't know if you can see much here, but I like just below the camera, there's an Apple laptop, there's an iPad here. My phone is an iPhone. I have AirPod Maxes. I have a lot of things that are desktop. I have a desktop, the one of the old ones, and everything is Apple at this point. So it's that ecosystem, right, that we have come to know now. So um, Apple is actually a very good at this. So, and I would actually say that one of my family members, they are also involved in this emotional marketing part, because what they have done is have they love the iPhone, and their birthday is somewhere around that time of the launching period as well. So for them, it's a perfect thing. What do they want every year for their birthday? The new iPhone, because it's a perfect thing to be given at that perfect time of the period. So this person loves their phones, and they are a um, huge fan of it. And they get the phone, they get the thing, so they pre-order or something. Now, which I actually just got to know just a few weeks ago, Apple does subscriptions. So you can pay a certain amount of money every month for your phone, and all you have to do is just keep paying uh every time a monthly fee. And you use your phone the way you always use it, everything. You get your Apple Care, you get everything. And once the phone is out, all you have to do is go to the store, give in your phone, show them that you're paying monthly or something. I'm pretty sure they have a record of it, and you get the new phone. So that basically means that it is a mix of trade-in, but also having that subscription base with Apple, which is quite interesting actually. I actually didn't know this until a few weeks ago. So that's quite cool. And another thing they do is also they do quite like, massive Apple events. When they launch or when they say they're gonna do Apple events, it's quite big. And the way they film it, the way they visualize it, it's quite cool. It's quite like effective. It has their really cool um camera motion styles and all of those. So it has those nice big events, sleek ads, and it makes their products feel like a very fancy pantsy thing. So as I spoke about Apple, and just before that, I just want to mention again for the new people who are listening, our camera does cut off at 30 minutes, so we try and pause it because we don't want it to just stop. So I'm just gonna continue off at where I was speaking of, and later on, I think we will. Hopefully, I won't be mentioning it as much as I would, but yeah. So, anyways, so I was speaking about Apple, how their events, how they do their monthly subscription, and how the trade-ins. So, the like I said, the products feels very like a symbol, right? And that's where you have like when you know Apple, you know the symbol of an apple. That's it, right? So I think they're very sleek about it. They don't tell you much about it, but they're very sleek about it. And they're been there for so many years, and they're very professional the way they do it. So now a lot of people might say they're not going to buy the new phone, but I'm pretty sure they're going to, and including me, hopefully. So the next company where I think emotional marketing plays really well is Spotify, right? Spotify does a um, really good thing. So basically, what they do is they do Spotify Wrapped, which comes out pretty much, I think, every year at the end of the year. Um, and they do basically they take all your data that you have listened to, and then they will give you a nice little like a story for yourself, where you can see how much you have listened to, how many hours you have listened to, how many podcast stories you have listened to, or who is the number one artist you've been listening to. What is the most streamed song that you've been listening to? So those kind of things, and your favorite artist, and then what kind of a percentage of that are you in of being a fan, and those kind of things. And what people do with that is they put that on their social medias, and other people can see, okay, these are the stats of this person, these are the stats of this person, stuff like that. So it's a quite of a engaging thing. Now you have that, you know, all all long year you will have people just listening, and then all of a sudden by the end of the year you have that interaction with Spotify where they can see all these fun things, the Christmas vibes, and uh, plus um they also make this thing for you, which is um, a specific playlist according to what kind of a songs you have listened. So let's say now, for example, for me, like I would listen to my mother tongue's song Tamil, and I would listen to English songs. I would listen to some Spanish, all these things. And then what I will do is it'll kind of AI generate basically. It'll create all of that into one specific playlist, just specifically for you. So those are like um interesting things. And for you to have all of those options, you'll be paying a certain amount of fee to Spotify, which is their Spotify Premium. And talking about the Spotify Premium, I think realistically, it's a decent price, right? I have been using Spotify for a very long time, and it's a very decent price. And it's something like, here it is again, right? You have Apple Music, you have Spotify, you have Amazon Music, you have all these SoundCloud, you have all these platforms, and it's all about which one are you more loyal to. Now, realistically, because I'm an Apple person, I should be loyal to Apple Music, but I prefer Spotify more. And the reason why is it's just something I have grown up with. Now, when I grew up, everyone had Spotify. I didn't know a lot of people who had Apple Music because I feel like personally, Apple Music, I think, if I'm not correct, came later on. So now me having to change all of that again, unsubscribing and then subscribing to Apple and then having to make my old playlist, I am not gonna do that. And if there was a app or something that where you can transfer everything just to like that, maybe I would have. But I during that time I didn't see anything. So Spotify is out there, right? They are really good at marketing themselves, putting themselves out there. As much as they don't market themselves that much throughout the year, there are some quiet marketings out there which they use. I mean, even us, right? We use Spotify for podcast, and it's called the Creators app. So we use that to post our episodes and stuff like that. So it's a very um, nice platform, personally. Some people might say I'm biased, but I'm that's what I'm saying. Like I talking from my point of view on those things. So these are basically all, basically a behavioral um, economics, or some people, like I mentioned earlier, might say it's a consumer psychology. It's like I said, it's all about how people don't buy things logically and buy things based on their feelings and their habits. And these kind of shortcuts are what our brain uses to call, or we would call, cognitive biases. And I think I mentioned it before, but I personally, been in that situation so many times. I would buy the most unnecessary. I mean, it's not expensive things, but like, even if it's like £1, £2, £3, £4, whatever, I have fallen into that factor of wanting to buy it because either it's, oh, it's so nice, or it's so cool. And it's such a interesting point, right? Because now if I go in, so when I was a kid, when I was into this toy store, we don't think logically that, okay, let's not buy these products because we want to save money and we can maybe save it up and then buy bigger toys. No, we see a toy, we want to buy the toy. That's how it works, and a lot of uh, children's mind, and we have all been there. So there are quite a quite of things out there right now. Even if you talk about children's toys, there are children's TV shows like, there's I can't remember much, but there are like Spider-Man and all those action figures out there, and they have their own set. Like from the TV show, they make their own set of toys. So the children who are watching those show, when they go to the toy store, they're gonna see those TV show characters, and they would love to buy those. And that's another way of marketing, right? And you also have Kinder Joy, where you can have all those collective things after you have a small treat of chocolate. So there are collectibles everywhere and stuff like that. Looking into another thing on the consumer psychology is we think we know so much more better than what the brands know about us. But in matter of fact, they know much more about us than we know about ourselves actually. Because I have seen so many people thinking they're not gonna buy something when they go or just before they go into the store, but then they come out with 5, 6 bags of shopping bags. So it's a very it's a very interesting thing. You can talk about it for day and night, how brands do this, brands do that, and people do this, people do that. So it's quite interesting. And if any of you guys have any thoughts on that as well, please let us know on our Reddit page or even on Instagram, DM us. So some of the psychological triggers that brands use, uh, one is basically that urgency, right? People want what they can't very easily have, right? For example, like let's say, oh, okay, let's say like this. If a lot of you were in the UK, or for some of you who weren't in the UK, when we were in lockdown, there was a shortage of toilet rolls. Yes, toilet rolls. And and people started rushing into the stores to buy it because just to stock it up. But you know, unless there was a lockdown, no one really cared. You just go and buy toilet paper rolls whenever you wanted. So when you have those kind of things, people will rush to buy it. They won't even think about whether it's a logical thing or whether it's an emotional thing. It's an urgency. I need to buy it ASAP. That's how it is. You even have like, Gymshark does their uh, Black Friday sales, and they do all of that. So during those times, you might get up to 70%, 60%. A lot of people like that Black Friday, the term that day is crazy. Like there, no one thinks. Like everyone just goes and buys whatever they did. I'm pretty sure maybe there are people who think about it before they buy stuff on Black Friday, but Black Friday is a perfect example of how people buy because things are cheap, right? You might have stuff like a product which is £9 and 99 cents, and you might think, huh, it's lesser than 10, so it's cheaper. But let's be honest, it's 1 cent away from being a £10, right? So would you realistically tell me that you are willing to spend this product because it's 1 cent or 1 penny less than £10? That's why you would buy it. What if it was £10? Would you still buy it or would you not? Right? So there are marketing doesn't just mean about the product or branding. It is also pricing. It's about the cost of it as well. Like, you go to the store, you see Pokemon cards. It says buy a pack of two for £15 and get one free, right? And then there might be one pack which might be for £5, right? Or £4 or something. So they really know how to persuade you to get their products without you thinking that you're the one choosing that product, right? Now there are so many stuff out there, right? I don't know how to even begin. I can't think of any. Okay, there is Coca-Cola, there is Fanta. You buy because of your own preference, right? But let's say Coca-Cola was £1.50 and the Fanta you're buying is £2.50. Which one would you buy? Right? Would you buy the Fanta, which is more expensive, or would you buy the Coke, which is more cheap? So this is where you would start thinking, okay, I love Fanta, but I'm gonna buy Coke because it's cheaper. That's logical thinking, right? Then there's another perspective of you, which would be like, without even looking at the price, pick up the Fanta, go to the thing, pay for it, get out. And you wouldn't even have noticed that uh, Coca-Cola would have been £1.50. And that's urgency, right? Stuff like that. Or not even urgency, it would be a choice of your liking. So it's an interesting thing. Like when you look at it like that, it, it kind of makes you realize, okay, hmm, okay. I'm pretty sure if you go to your room and just scan around your whole room, I'm pretty sure you'll find more than 5 things that you think is so unnecessary that you have ever bought in your life. That's for sure, right? But your mind will keep telling you that you bought it for a reason. And that's because you don't want it to look like that you spent money in a very wasteful way, right? And I'm one of them. So, as much as I'm sitting here and talking about that topic, I'm also unfortunately one of them. I have so many unnecessary things. When I look at it now, I'm thinking, why did I buy this? Why did I buy that? Why did I buy this? But even if I'm talking about it tomorrow, I might even go to McDonald's and I might even buy myself a Big Mac, right? Because in my mind, I'm not going for the Big Mac anymore. I'm going for the Monopoly reward stuff. So we can sit and talk about it. We can sit and analyze it. We can sit and take notes about it. But we are still gonna be doing it because that's what we want to do, and that's where we like, that's where our mind likes to play a game with us. So it's a very simple, but also a very complicated thing to really sit and talk and analyze and having to, because you can't do those. Those are things that you've been doing for a long time. Like, I used to have McDonald's since I was 5 years old, and now you can't ask me to just not ever have it again. Yeah, maybe stop it, but have never have it again. That's a different choice. So, um, next thing we uh we're looking into is Prime. Prime energy hydration. There are two different things. There's Prime energy and there's Prime hydration, right? It's built by two famous YouTubers, and it all started from them being enemies in boxing and all of those things to becoming friends. No, I don't know, best friends, to now having this Prime company. That is one of the most craziest products I've ever seen. A lot of people go insane for over a hydration drink. Like, like just a bottle of water. It's like that. And it's all for that hype and their uh it's like, it's a sticker of them there, right? It's their brand. So, um it's quite interesting. I think looking at all of that, um, it shows the influencer power there. How, literally, I've seen kids running, rushing, fighting for just one bottle of Prime. And a lot of people used to buy it and they would just sell it for like £1,000, £2,000, £3,000 for a bottle of Prime, which back in the day was something a lot of people would do. So my question here is, would this drink even have blown up if these two massive, high profiled, very funny guys would have created this, right? let's say if I created it, okay, someone who is not an influencer, someone who is, just a normal person, would have put out a company like this, would it have really had that kind of a spike of people being interested in a drink, or would it have been dead, right? So that's the thing, right? Even mentioning about it, even when we started this whole idea of podcast, we were even talking we should first brand ourselves, we should make TikTok, we should make Instagram reels, get people to see, like hide the fact that we're doing a podcast and do all these funny memes and reels. And we tried two, three. If y'all saw that, I'm so sorry, so so sorry. But we tried all of that to think that okay, let's build that foundation of having 500 followers, 1,000 followers, so that when we have started the podcast, we will instantly get people to listen to it. But we didn't do it the right way, which is fine. Some people can do it, some people can't. We are just not one of them. So it's about knowing your audience, it's about knowing how you're gonna put it out there. And so that's basically Prime as well. How are we on time? Left? 20 minutes more? Oh my god. I've been talking too much, isn't it? Anyways, second one is I'm not gonna talk much about it, but second one is basically Stanley Cups. That was also a big thing. Having those big jugs with a straw, and then you can put like, those designs like a flower, and then you can have popcorn, uh, small snacks around it. So, uh, it's a very same style like Prime. Why is it so trendy? Because people have it or they put it on TikTok. I feel like more than just um, the brand, yeah, celebrities and all of those things. So it's just a very fancy way to have water or juice or anything. You guys probably remember on my first episode, I had a Stanley bottle just somewhere around here. Even I have it myself. It's easier to carry, it's easier to drink from, but then it's the same as drinking from a normal, you know, glass of water, like, a cup. So, thinking about it, is the hype really in the water or is it really in the cup? See, so those are also questions we will sit and think about, but unfortunately, we are not gonna go into this. And I think I had a notes where I was going to talk about pricing psychology, but I think I already mentioned it a little bit about the 9.99 and all of that. So we're just going to go through. So, how can people be more conscious of marketing psychology? If I'm going to be honest, from my perspective, you can't. Because no matter how much you try and think that these people or these brands can't persuade you, they will, right? It's a very natural thing. Like you can't, if there wasn't marketing or if these companies weren't persuading you, you know, it doesn't make sense. Then there isn't really, people wouldn't buy stuff, and then there's nothing to buy really, right? You buy frames, you buy, this statue, you buy this picture, the iPad. Everything comes behind the fundamentals of marketing. Simple as that. So thinking that you're gonna persuade people or thinking that we can be more conscious about it, that's really not gonna really change anything. And being persuaded into buying things, that's totally fine. But you don't want to be persuaded too much. Um. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I've covered about all of this is really um just a very small part of it, right? We think it's quite a lot, but then there's actually much more behind that as well. If you go in more in detail, there's much more into it. There's much more into the products. There are much more into the brands. They're much more into anything that we think we're gonna buy. So it's quite interesting. And if you guys feel the same or think anything, feel free to let us know as well. So yeah, we just had to cut again because I am blabbering too much apparently. Um, so we are actually basically on the very last section of this podcast. I'm so sorry that you guys have to sit and listen. If you're not, just feel free to just let the video go. At least some views. But yeah, we're on the very last point where we're gonna go past all of the things you're talking because I feel like it's been a lot of knowledge and opinions and this and that. So one thing we're gonna do today is questions that again my camera slash social media slash uh, editor everything, yeah, whatever, all rounder basically, they have basically done a few questions that to answer related in the brand things, but we're gonna make it fun. We're gonna try and make it as fun as possible. So, what is the dumbest thing you ever bought because of hype? Supreme chopsticks. I bought Supreme chopsticks when I was in high school because I really liked the brand Supreme and it was such a hype. So I bought the chopsticks, and it's probably the stupidest thing I've ever bought. Yeah, and there's no point of even selling it now because it's probably what, £5. It's, Jesus Christ. Um, if you can make your own celebrity meal at McDonald's, what would it be in it? I'm pretty sure it's probably out there, but I haven't seen it personally in the UK. And I think it's gonna be very similar to the McSpicy chicken burger or the Big Mac, but instead of putting their sauce, you put sriracha mayo. I think that would be really nice. And maybe more than just one or two pickles. Maybe put three pickles. And pickles are the best in the. I think that's personally the best thing in the burger. So I would say put some sriracha mayo in it. Put two, three patties. Then the lettuce, whatever, everything in the bun. Huh? No, not really. There's nothing. What can you change about the drinks? So just have a Coca-Cola Zero, because apparently according to Coca-Cola, it's 0 calories. um, which viral product do you secretly hate but pretend to like? Viral product, but I do like it though. I don't hate it. Don't do that. I love it. I'm an Apple gang for. You know. One thing that I secretly hate but I pretend to like. I think any. Hmm? Nothing. Ah, yes. I don't know if you guys could have heard that, but I feel like I'm gonna get a little bit of comments on this. But I personally hate Crocs. I just don't think they're comfortable. They're too overhyped. I don't know why people wear it. It doesn't even look nice. And I got them myself to see if I actually would like it. I didn't. It doesn't feel right to wear. And I'm so sorry if any of the Crocs people are listening to this, but it's just so uncomfortable. What's one brand you never admitted you're loyal to, but you actually are? Well, I don't think I have to admit anything, but I think I'm quite loyal to Gymshark. I have quite a lot of stuff from Gymshark. I have their jacket, you know, pants and joggers, t-shirts, stuff like that, and their gym bags, water bottles. So yeah, which influencer could sell you literally anything? I don't think there has to be really a specific influencer to sell me anything. I think it's more on if I like it, I will get it. Or if it's like a cologne, maybe. If it's someone that I would preferably like listen to, like influencers, maybe I might go and check it out. But I don't know about the buying part because I'm not sure. Yeah, but it's more like I think I'm more influenced in buying, for example, FIFA. But that's not because of influencer, that's because of the history I have with it, right? Nostalgia as a kid playing it and all that. So, yeah. What's a product you think should go viral but hasn't yet? Us. I think we should go viral. But we shouldn't go viral because we want to become famous. We want to go viral because we want people similar to us to, like I mentioned in the very first beginning of first episode, we want to build a community. So we don't want to be viral for those reasons. We're not doing this for money, or we're not doing this for those kind of fame. And I don't want to be an influencer. I feel like being an influencer is very difficult, and the reason I know that is because I know a lot of people have tried becoming an influencer and they struggle themselves. So yeah, we don't want to be viral for those things, please. We just want to be viral because we want it to go to the right people and the right target audience. Simple as that. I'm going to say that every time people have anything or any doubts about that. What's one viral item you never thought you never be caught dead using? Um, what was it? Viral item. I don't think there's any viral item, but I do. It's not viral anymore, but I do still. So whenever I'm bored and just sitting in the bed, I would use a fidget spinner to just spin it around. Actually, I was actually thinking about it. So when I'm like sitting there just bored, I would have like a fidget spinner and just spin it around. So it's not really viral, but it used to be viral. If you had to wear only one brand head to toe for a year, which would you pick? I don't know really how to answer this because either I'm gonna say something really fancy, or either I'm gonna say something really that like, oh, really? Um, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very loyal to Ralph Lauren or Polo. Um, it's something I really like, and I think they have a very. It doesn't show off too much that it's a Ralph Lauren because of their just small logo, but it's just very nice and decent. So um, something like that, or I wouldn't even mind Gymshark. Gymshark is also really comfortable, so I would wear that as well. Anyways, that's everything for today. Another thing I just wanted to mention is if there's any issue with the audio, please let us know, whether it's privately or whether it's on DMs or even on the comments below, or you can even email us at thismightbeamistakepodcast@gmail.com. Yes, that is the name. Um, and let us know if there's anything you guys think is wrong, because sometimes I feel like the audio, if I keep it here, it's too loud, or if I keep it here, it's too loud, it's too high, or if it's here, it's too loud. So please let us know. We'll try and um, sync it as much as we can, but um, I'm not really I'm gonna be honest, even when I we edited the first one, we just like probably like put it down a little bit because we weren't like so accurate on like focusing on those audio things. So anyways, that is it for today. I am I don't know what I'm gonna do now, but I'm probably just gonna relax now. I think I've had it for the day. Sitting here trying to talk for what, 4 hours? It's been 4 or 5 hours now. Yeah, 6 hours. We've been in this room for 6 hours. S- Episodes are not that long. It's just 45 minutes and maybe 1 hour. But we will try and cut it down a bit because we don't want to do it too long as well, because then it's not that entertaining. But we also want to make sure that we get the right content in. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to like, subscribe, and also if y'all want to, we're not gonna be like do it, but if you all want to, feel free to also check out the Spotify page as well. I know a lot of people prefer more to do the video podcasting, but it would be nice. For example, if you don't have time to just watch the whole thing, maybe you can put it up in the car and listen or something like that. So feel free to check it out on Spotify as well. And I just want to say a massive thank you for all of your, again, I mentioned it on episode 2 as well, but I just want to say thank you for all the responses. Uh, I'm very grateful. I'm very happy, and I can't wait for you guys to listen to many more of our episodes that are coming in. We have some amazing ideas coming along. I also mentioned episode 2 that we were going to decorate a little bit for Halloween, so that's also going to be coming out sometime soon. So we just want you guys to show your love and support, and also give some ideas on what we can decorate. If you have any thought process on that, please give your ideas on that, and we can definitely try and do our best to make that happen as well. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.